This is Hyperia, the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster, and I love building huge models of record-breaking roller coasters, which makes Hyperia the perfect contender. So, in this video, I'll be using my thousands of tiny Connect pieces and turning them into an over 6 foot tall model of Hyperia. To start all of my models, I build a base for all the supports and track to go on. This is boring, so let's skip to building the lift hill. For the lift, I used box supports with as many braces as I could for maximum strength. I made the lift just over 6 feet tall and used temporary supports to hold it up. Next, I built up the first big supports. They're just basic vertical supports with some cross braces in the middle connecting the two vertical ones. I then finished the box supports and added in the track and the chain to raise the train up. Now, all that's left for the lift is the final tube supports that hold up the crest of the lift. These supports are huge, so I made sure to use my stronger tube support design to hold everything up.
So I've added some cross braces to the section here. I'm not going to be able to add any more until I add the track down for the drop. It's really hard to tell because there's a lot of supports and they're all really compact. So it's kind of hard to tell where the supports are or whatever.
I then built the twisted drop down. This was probably the most difficult first drop of any coaster for me to build, and I've made some pretty tall lifts in the past. I think overall I replicated it really well, and I'm really happy with it. The first element after the drop is this non-inverting Immelman thing. By far this was the hardest element for me to build, so let's go through how I made it. I started with extending the base out. Then I added the vertical supports and cross braces. I used some spinal track as a guide for where the track will eventually go. This is a really great strategy for making smooth coasters. With that in mind, I also added in the supports for the top of the Immelman and then the track. And then I finished all the supports for the incline of the Immelman, and this thing does not shake at all.
Alright, so I've been working on the first element here, and it's been quite a struggle. It's very difficult to get the exact profiling because I just have straight and turn tracks to work with, and it's been making it very difficult. I think what I have, this is like the fourth try, so I think this should work. I'm going to build the support here, and then I'll finish this, just so I can make sure that this looks right. Alright, I think this is about as good as I'm going to be able to make it. I've already spent like 4 hours trial and erroring. So now I'm going to add the other supports similar to this and then finish those supports.
I was then able to finish the Immelman by building the supports for the first valley, as well as the valley after the Immelman. You can see here that I used some extra orange micro rods to make it as smooth as possible. I also reconfigured the lift motor so it's a bit stronger.
I also got a new web weaver car because my old ones suck. Just kidding. Got a brand new 3D printed train for this project.
Anyway, I'm sure you're all dying to see these new trains, so here's a test run. Okay, now back to construction. The next element is this weird outer bank hill with a barrel rolled down drop. So let's build it. I again started with extending the base. I guess all the footage I have isn't mostly complete, so here's all the supports and track work. The hardest part was heartlining the barrel roll and making sure there was enough clearance for the train. I spent a long time perfecting the barrel roll to get it as close to the rear one as possible. After the outer bank is a stall loop, which is basically a stall that ends in a half loop. So I again laid out the spinal track as a guide for the supports, which are mostly built already. I did have to add a few new supports right here though. At the bottom of the stall is a flat section with a trim brake. So I went and grabbed a couple pieces of aluminum and stuck them onto the track. This will act as a brake run. Now all that's left to build are the two hills, brake run station, and pre-lift. This was actually quite hard to line up correctly for some reason, so it took a few tries to get right.
Okay, so I'm kind of testing out the brake runs a little bit. I had one there, but it didn't really seem to do a whole lot. I think my plan is to raise this element and this one. I never really finished it. And then I need to configure the...
So I've made the outer bank turn a little bit taller, and now it works a little bit better. I then connected up the track and added in the brake run. Unfortunately, the train just has too much speed to stop completely, so a fully automatic coaster will have to come later. I also added lights to the track and station. I think this is now the unofficial world's best nightlight, so maybe if you subscribe I can apply for the official one. I used a simple technique called making a mess to cover up all the extra lights. And with that, my Hyperia recreation is complete. This is definitely one of my best coasters, and can't wait to build more with my new trains. Now, here's my recreation of Hyperia. Enjoy.